All right. Well, welcome back to another Thursday night version of the Forney Family Evening News, guys. Hope you guys are having a great week. Thank you for joining us. It's Justin Terry and team, Dr. Judy Weber, Kristen Zastapul, and Rick Gear here with you tonight. And we've got a lot of information to share. But before we do that, we've had an awesome week, right? Judy and Rick, Kristen, it's just been a fun week. I know we had an awesome opportunity to bring back our principals and together in our leadership teams and really dig into getting ready for back to school. And it's just been an awesome week. Wouldn't you agree, Judy?
Always a great kickoff to the year to bring our leadership team back and start preparing for being at school.
It is, and I think moving into next week too. I mean, we're bringing a whole another group back. Isn't that right? You guys are prepping and getting ready for them.
Oh, yes. I always have a good thing to share. Lots of good things this time of year. Our learning team and technology teams have been working very hard because next week we bring new teachers and staff back, and it's always very exciting to induct them into our Forney family, induct them into Capturing Kids' Hearts, and prepare them also to join our existing teachers and staff and administrators as we start the school year.
Exciting times for sure. Exciting times. And Rick, we've had some awesome times this week too with our kids are starting to come back. I know athletics and even some of our fine arts programs got kids back. What's going on with them? It's been a lot of fun.
Yes, sir, it has. And a lot of extracurricular events, kids are coming back, and obviously our coaches and sponsors are really excited to see the kids. They missed them. And so they've been obviously practicing very safety protocols, but they're back at work and excited about the new school year and participating in the events.
Yeah, it's really cool. We've been running with athletics now, I think, since around June the 8th. Isn't that amazing? They've been doing a great job, coaches.
They've actually moved into a phase 2 now, which gives them a little bit more moving towards that end goal of participating.
Yeah, it is. And I know I even heard some of our dance teams are back. And I tell you what, if you can keep 6 feet apart with one group of kids, definitely our dancers can do that. So, man, I just appreciate our coaches and our sponsors, and they're just doing a great job of putting great protocols in place for our kids. So great week this week, but we've got a lot to share with you tonight, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We always want to start and just kind of give an update to where we are and some new information if we have any that we're receiving, because we're listening to a lot of organizations and Texas Education Agency multiple times per week. And so just wanted to provide you guys with a little bit of information as to what we've received this week and where we are. That help us to make decisions as we move forward. And so this week, as I said, TEA hasn't shared a lot of new information with us, but I did have a great opportunity to meet as we have been for a while now. But this Monday, we had a chance to meet with all of our Kaufman County superintendent teams, as well as our county judge and county health officials. And it's a great team, great collaboration, continuing to work together and have great discussions. And at this time, everybody kind of decided that it's time to continue to move forward with the plans that we've got in place based on the information that we have right now. So I know a lot of you are probably tuning in to kind of hear if there was any changes or updates. And as of today, that's the key phrase, as of today, we are continuing with our August 17th start and our learning plans, which we're going to talk a little bit more about in depth as we work through this slideshow here. So we did have one big update earlier this week, which I'm sure a lot of you have seen, and UIL has made some adjustments this week to some of our fall sports, and they're continuing to put out new guidelines and safety protocols as well for a lot of our athletics and fine arts programs. And so I'm just going to direct you to our athletic web pages and our fine arts web pages. As we now have this information, our coaches and directors and sponsors will begin to share out how some of the new information that UIL has shared will affect us here at home in Forney. So look for that information coming up, but look also for a little bit of a delayed start with some of our athletic programs and some of the competition side of UIL. So that is coming soon to a web page near you. So we'll kind of get going with just where we are with our learning options. We've had a lot of questions, and tonight we want to make sure that we begin to really dig into some of the frequently asked questions But I wanted to start with really talking deeply about the learning options and some of the questions we've received on our learning options. And so just want to first direct you to our website. If you've got questions about the two learning options that we have available, our on-site learning for pre-K through 12th grade and virtual learning settings, I really encourage you to go there. There is a ton of information and we're adding to it daily. The other thing I just want to remind everybody about is there's a third bullet on that page that is about the learning commitment form. And we're going to talk about this again later on, but just want to encourage everybody to look at that form and you can go ahead and fill that out today if you like. And we'd encourage you to do so just as to where your thoughts are so that we can have an idea of where your thoughts are. Don't forget, you can come back and change that at any time all the way through August the 3rd. So encourage your friends, go ahead and give us your thoughts as to where you are right now as a family with your learning commitment forms. But I wanted to talk deeply today about our approach and philosophy on the learning options. And this slide right here really says it all. And I just want to speak to this for a second. And guys, we know that there's a lot going on in a lot of households around Forney, just like there has been since March of last spring. And we're compassionate to that, and we understand that. We know that there's a lot of different philosophies. There's a lot of different health concerns. There's a lot of needs that you have in your home. And we want to do everything we can as a school district to meet whatever need that is. And so because of that, the key word is that we're trying to provide to our families is this idea of flexibility and safety. And so as we share today, I think there's been a lot of questions about virtual, for example, and what that looks like. And we want to talk about a little more detail into that because I think that we're going to have an option for every family here in Forney, and that's our goal. So the key word here is flexibility, because we know there's a lot of needs out there, and we want you to have the best option that we can continue to engage with you and connect with you and educate your children. So let's talk a little bit about our learning settings. Just as a reminder and a review, this is what we've shared with you last week, and it really hasn't changed right now. As of today is the key phrase again. But as of today, our learning settings look like this. There are two options, an on-site instruction as well as the K through 12 virtual academy, the virtual option. And so one thing I'm going to clarify a little bit is today is that first bullet. And we said we'd come back to you with more information about courses that are, UIL type courses, hands-on type courses, and the opportunity for even virtual students to still stay connected in some of those courses that may not be able to be done completely virtual. So we're going to talk a little bit about that in more detail. The second bullet I just want to point out to you and encourage you is to stay connected. There are going to be a lot of different clubs and organizations that are going to be offered in a face-to-face setting as well as before and after school. Even in a virtual setting. And so we know that our kids need interaction, they need socialization. And so we want to encourage everyone to stay connected, even if it's in an online setting. And so we'll talk through the third bullet as well a little bit later, so I won't go into detail on that. But I did want to give you a little bit of an update as to the courses that are going to be available for some of our virtual students to transition into on a daily basis for on-site instruction. Athletics is obviously a course that's very difficult to throw a football online, and so students will be able to, as recommended by TEA and UIL, to come on site for those. And so you can also continue to be in athletics virtually, but your campus coordinators, your campus athletic coordinators are going to, over the next week or two, set up some time to set up a meeting for parents to hear a little bit more detail as to what that will look like as specific to the grade levels at middle school or high school, and even at our different Jackrabbits and Falcon Nations. So understand that is coming soon, and you're going to get a lot more information. Fine arts programs, we are allowing kids to also, it's sometimes difficult to participate in band if you're not able to come up and on site. So 6 through 12 band will be able to transition, as well as Possibly choir. One of the things that we are still waiting on is guidance on choir right now from some of the organizations as to what a safe and healthy environment looks like. So once we have those recommendations, we'll make a decision as to what choir looks like. Then additional courses in 9 through 12 fine arts, as well as AP studio art, and even into our Blackburn Fine Arts Academies. So be looking again for more information on these from the sponsors of those programs or the principals over those campuses as to what exactly those procedures will look like and how those transitions will work throughout the day. Also, there are CTE courses, 11th and 12th grade. There's a lot of advanced practicum type courses in welding, animal science, those types of things where really you have to come on site and you have to participate, to run a welding bead or, take care of an animal in the barn or whatever it may be. And so kids are going to be able to transition. There's only one course that's really a course that's only going to be face-to-face, and that's our electrical technology CTE courses. So that is our new updated list as of today. That could be expanded in the future, but just be aware that those are the courses we're looking at. So let's dig into virtual. We've had a lot of questions on this, and I want you to know there's going to be a whole session next week, right, Judy, on a virtual schedule and a virtual town hall. We'll talk about more, but let's talk about virtual just a little bit. You want to share just some updates as to some of the questions you've been hearing and what virtual look like?
Yes, Dr. Terry, we've been getting a lot of questions on what a virtual day would look like for our students. And I'm going to give you kind of a brief answer because it's a general answer for students from K through 12. But we want to reiterate what you said earlier, that we want to provide flexibility for our parents and students while also providing the interaction that many of our students will really want and crave and need. So we will have times where our virtual teachers are live. They are online. The kids will have a schedule where they know when their teacher will be providing some interaction and live lessons, but they'll be recorded for students who choose to watch those later. So we're going to try to accommodate the needs of our families, the needs of our students, but still provide live teach pieces and live interactions for those who choose to partake in that type of lesson.
Great, Judy. And again, we're going to have a lot more detailed information next Friday. There'll actually be a session on that. But also had a few questions just as, we talked about the flexibility. We understand that some parents are going to need that flexibility in your setting at home. And so we want to make sure and provide that to you. I've also had some questions about, how long is my child going to have to be online? And TEA's given us some guidance on that. They've actually recommended that K through fifth grade is right around 180 minutes minimum that we're supposed to design work for. And then 6 through 12 is 240 minutes.
That's right.
And so that is really just kind of a ballpark, maybe less some days, maybe more other days, but that is kind of what we're designing towards and what TEA has asked us to do for those grade levels. So again, there will be structured times for live for those who can attend and want to attend, and we encourage that, especially in our lower grade levels, but also some flexibility as well. We've had a lot of questions also about the opportunities that kids going virtual will have if they're going to be limited. So for example, what will dual credit and advanced classes will be offered? We believe in equity in our approach here. So advanced classes will be offered in a virtual setting. The details of what that'll look like will come from the principals. And the reason I say that is we offer advanced classes all the way down to first grade now in Forney ISD. And so they're going to look different, obviously, for a first grader and a 12th grader. And so over the next week or two, you're going to start to hear of campuses that will be providing time for more information to be shared as to the specific operations of their campuses, and advanced classes will be one of those that will be addressed at those levels. Dual credit, however, we've kind of got some guidance because of our partnership with Dallas College and Eastfield. And all dual credit classes this year for the fall semester, at least for now, will be taught online in an online setting. However, we want to ensure you that, some of our 10th graders and even 9th graders that are involved in these dual credit, maybe an 11th or 12th grader that just need to ride the bus and come on site, we will provide a supervised setting on site for those dual credit students so they can take them at home or on site and they'll have that flexibility. So look for some additional information on dual credit over the next week or two, or actually over the next, I think there was one sent out earlier this week, and then look for some more information as well next week as to our dual credit students. So the next question is, can we switch our learning options at any time, or are we locked into this? What is this going to look like? And there's a little bit of flexibility, and this is actually guidance that is given to us from the state, right, Judy? And so you want to kind of talk about what those learning options and how people can transition back and forth through those, and what that looks like?
Yeah, TEA has given us guidance on this, so it provides really some clear guidelines on how parents can choose to change settings. So if a parent chooses virtual instruction, they want their child to switch to on-campus, they can do so at the end of our 9-week grading period. However, if a parent chooses on-site and they start off on-site and wants their child to switch to a virtual instructional setting, they can do so throughout the grading period.
That's great. And so we encourage you, if you want to try face-to-face, and then, there's a health concern that may occur or something, changes in your family, you can always move to that virtual setting. But, we're also trying to plan out a master schedule on principals, or there's a lot of movement in that, right? So we do need to understand who's going to be on site for each grading period. So that's what that'll look like. And then Judy, I think this question's for you as well, and it refers to special education. So you want to answer this one?
So on our virtual learning website area, we have some general information for special education students. Some of the questions that we've gotten have been so specific, or really are based on an individual student's a concern with some of their learning processes. So if a question is really specific to an individual student, we would ask that our parents contact the special education department. We have tried to provide a lot of general information on what we're able to provide and how we would like to meet the needs of our students. But because it's so specified to each student, it's really hard to answer in a format such as we're doing tonight.
That's great. We definitely want to provide the individual services these guys need, and we'll do that. And we've also got a couple academies that are going to be kind of individualized in their approaches as well, right? So our Dual Language Academy over at Criswell, and our new Fine Arts Academy over at Blackburn. So a couple questions on that as well. Judy, if you want to give some guidance.
Right. With these programs, Dual Language has already put some information on our website, where we'll provide instruction in both English and Spanish, and kind of how that's going to look, and then how teachers will be available during the day to help with questions or provide support. We will hold some more meetings later on to give these families really greater detail. As far as our Advanced Academics and Fine Arts Academy at Blackburn, they're going to hold a specific parent meeting for this small subset of population to kind of explain how the learning process will work for these students, since it's just a initial program. It's a startup program, and it's only in our first and second grade levels. So they'll hold a specific meeting to address parent questions for our Fine Arts and Advanced Academics Academy at Blackburn.
Thanks, Judy. We've also received some questions just about electives overall, and addressed a lot of those that could be done, that really can't be done completely in a virtual setting. But also know this, there's a lot of electives that we offer that can and will be offered in a virtual setting as well. So everything from PE, some of those courses are required, and we still need to teach those, whether you're virtual or face-to-face. Even our fine arts, some of our fine arts courses, and even in our CTE courses, a lot of those, especially 9th and 10th grade courses, can be offered virtually. Even down to 5th and 6th grade, there's going to be some online STEM and fine arts classes that will be offered as well. So the answer is absolutely. We still encourage our kids to stay involved in electives, and we still want to meet the needs and expectations of the education agency also when it comes to our elective programs. It's important for our kids for sure. So grades, Judy had talked a little bit about this last week, but let's just remind everybody, grading, I think there's still some questions in both environments. What is that going to look like?
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about grading. It's a really common question. Our policies are found in our student handbooks, and TEA is requiring us to standardize our grading policies for both on-site and virtual academy students. We are going to explore some programs or provide some procedures for students who are online and learning to maximize assessment security. but we're required to have one set of systems for both virtual and on-site students.
Yeah, and our goal is obviously equity, that we're providing similar courses in both settings, but also the adequacy side of things, that we want the quality to be the same as well. So part of that comes with, how we're going to grade, and TEA's told us pretty much that's going to stay the same,
It's
right?
standard in our
Yeah.
assessments for both face-to-face and our on-site or our virtual students. We will have the same assessments no matter what setting the student chooses to do.
Yeah, and we definitely believe that both settings, no matter what, our kids need a top quality education, and we're definitely going to provide that. So that's grading, GPA and rank, all that good stuff will stay the same no matter what setting you are in. Rick, this is always a hot topic in the continued questions. So let's talk about face coverings, right?
Yes, sir. We got quite a few questions on masks and what that entails and looks like. Our face covering will follow the orders from the state officials. In an abundance of caution, we're asking all students to wear personal face coverings while they're entering and exiting the building. Each of our pre-K through 6th grade students will be provided a personalized face shield that will be kept there on campus in the classroom and cleaned daily by us to utilize during any class activities when social distancing may not be possible. Our 7th through 12th grade students are wearing a mask, but they may request a personal face shield when social distancing cannot be maintained. Students, according to CDC guidelines, are encouraged to clean their own personal face coverings, masks, daily. Students' names should be written on each personal face covering. Students' individual needs, well, this is a big question here, Dr. Terry. The students' individual needs will be addressed on a case-by-case basis. If there is some request for accommodations due to a medical necessity, those should be submitted to the campus administration. Also, as mentioned in our transportation guidelines, face coverings are going to be required to ride our buses. Our drivers and our monitors will also be wearing face shields, so we want to be sure and protect everybody on the bus route. Additional information can be found about face coverings on our website under Learning Options.
Awesome. Yeah, the website, there's just a plethora of information there. And again, it's just getting added to on a daily basis right now. So we're just to reiterate what Rick said, we're going to provide every kid, every student a face shield if they would like one, pre-K through 6. Those will be in the classroom. We're actually going to train our kids to disinfect those, to take responsibility for those in the classroom as well. But we also are going to do our best to maximize social distancing at all times, whenever possible. And so that has been a big question about face coverings, but we're going to continue to follow the guidance as of today of our governor's orders as well, and go above and beyond that. So thanks for sharing, Rick. And again, I think there was even some question as to, what kind of face mask can I wear, right? And all that information is on the website as to colors and all that good stuff, which is pretty wide open. So school appropriate, right? Very good. So a couple questions just about the learning platform, in a virtual setting and even in our face-to-face setting. Kristen, you still hanging on with us, aren't you? So
I am. Yep.
You can answer this question for us.
Yeah, we get asked a lot about what platforms are used in Canvas. Canvas is the primary platform for the district. So all of our virtual learning will take place through that system. Hopefully, if you've got a returning student, it should be something that they're very familiar with. And I don't know if Judy touched on this or not, but I know that our team is working to kind of streamline and clean up those Canvas templates. That was some feedback we got from last spring. That way it'll be a little bit easier to navigate for parents to find things and help their students throughout Canvas. So we'll look a little bit differently from last spring, but hopefully it will be an improvement.
That's great, Kristen. I even talked to some of our choir teachers the other day, Mr. Hitt over at North, and he's becoming a Canvas expert. And even our fine arts programs are going to be adapting into Canvas. So that is definitely our platform. Kristen, also, we've had a few questions about, the device itself. You want to fill us in on what we offer and what opportunities will be available for virtual kids from a device standpoint?
Absolutely. So Forney ISD, if you're new to the district, and I do see these comments popping up on our live feed tonight, we provide all 4th through 12th grade students a Chromebook. And Canvas can actually be used on any device that can access the internet, not just a Chromebook. It could be used on a laptop, a tablet, a smartphone. I've even heard of some children using their gaming system. So if it can access the internet, they can actually work through Canvas. If a K through 3rd grade student does not have access to a device at home, the district will provide an opportunity for you to request a device. We did that process in the spring as well, and we set up some hubs. There were requests made, and people were able to drive through and pick those up. We also were able to set up some tech support through those hubs. So our tech team right now is working to get everybody going for the start of school. So they're also working, and you'll see more information about how we're going to be able to support our devices if you select virtual learning as an option. So don't worry, we're still going to provide tech support. As well as we're going to be adding here in the next week a list of Wi-Fi resources that are available in the community to our Learning Options website. So we still have some of those. If you missed that list in the spring, we're going to make sure it gets back up there if you're looking for Wi-Fi access at home.
Very good. So if somebody needs a Chromebook, we're going to take care of you. And it's in 4 through 12. It's just part of what we do here in a one-to-one setting for sure. So thank you. And you kind of mentioned some of our new students, and I know that this next question kind of is probably from a few of those new houses that are going up, right? They just enrolled and we're continuing to grow. So you want to give some direction as to enrollment, Kristen?
Absolutely. So if you have a new student, or even if you're a returning student, so new students will actually enroll. And if you go to our website or if you download our mobile app, there is an enrollment tab. There is a link there under the picture to enroll a new student. Every year we do ask students not to re-enroll, but to re-verify their student information in Skyward. That's just to make sure we have the latest information up to date and everything. So if you're a new student, certainly go online and select enrollment. And if you're returning, please be sure to go in and re-verify your information.
That's great. And also, we would just want to challenge you guys. If you see somebody moving in next to you, please encourage them to get enrolled as quick as possible. Those numbers are important to us as we begin to plan for the year. Kristen, also, as they fill out this commitment form, we've had a couple questions about, man, I can't remember that 6 or 7 or 8 digit number, right? Their Skyward ID. Can you tell us where to find that?
Absolutely. Well, first, ask your kid, ask your student. They can probably tell you. But if not, if you log into Skyward, you will see that there is a place there that says Other ID, and you can find that student ID number there. And we need that ID number, it really makes the process faster once you complete the commitment form for us to know exactly where to code that student. But if you're a new student or an incoming kindergarten student, you can fill out 0 in that commitment form just so we can get you to the right place. But if you're returning, please, please, please fill in your ID number.
Yeah, it definitely saves our guys a lot of time when they're sorting these out. So thank you for your help there, parents. We appreciate it. So moving on to the next slide, which I think I already moved on to. I apologize, but we've had a lot of questions about whether students are going to transition and what really the operations of the campus are going to look like. And you're going to get a lot of information again as our principals begin to set up meetings with our parents. And so look for that over the next week or two. But just a really high level, our pre-K through 6th grade students are going to stay in a single cohort. And if you understand basically how, our kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 3rd grade classes have run in the past, it'll look very similar to that all the way through 6th grade to keep that cohort together and minimize interactions with a lot of students. 7th through 12th grade, obviously it's a very different setting, just naturally. And so our principals are doing a great job, their leadership teams, of creating operations. They look a little different at each level to really minimize some of those in-between settings where they're interacting with a lot of kids normally, or large gathering areas. So look for and listen for those meetings with their campus principals, and they'll give you a lot more direction on that per the grade level, because it looks different at each one. Also, I've had questions about, again, trying to minimize the large gathering areas, a cafeteria. And right now, as of today, our pre-K through 12th grade, we are going to try and do our best to eat in the classroom. And so students will still be provided options and things, but they'll come back to their room to eat for lots of reasons. One is to minimize the large gatherings of students, but also because we need large spaces to spread kids out for different learning settings. So right now, as of today, pre-K through 12th grade are planning on eating in all of our classrooms. Rick, got a lot of questions on our we don't have uniforms, we have standardized dress, but I think this came right off the question. But what about dress code? Getting a lot of questions on dress code, right?
Yes, sir, we have. And our student dress code will continue for the 2021 school year. I think our staff really believe that this provides a sense of normalcy for our students. We realize, and actually we've had several parents communicate to us about this, and we know that there are various needs throughout our community. We're very fortunate that we have a uniform exchange program that's kind of partnered with the Forney Community Ministries to help out. And I was talking to Dana Curry, who kind of heads that up for us. And Dana said we have a massive amount of uniforms,
That's awesome.
shirts, pants, shorts, all different kinds of jackets. She and I were talking about it yesterday, and that we're hoping that somebody will take us up on that. We'd love to share that stuff out. But there's actually an email address that I've shared on the screen here, forneyuniforms@gmail.com. So if you have a specific need, just shoot it to them and they can get you set up.
That's great, man. And again, what a blessing this community is. And they just continue to give back and support each other and our Forney family. Backpack program, just amazing. Thousands of dollars have already been donated. So we know there may be some needs out there, guys. And if you do have a need or know somebody that does have one, hey, we're here for you. And we've got a lot of resources to reach out to help support any needs that are out there. So please let us know, just like we did last spring. We're here for you. So moving forward, Rick, thanks for sharing that. Also had some transportation questions. Kristen, I think a lot of this, though, may reflect where you've kind of stored some information on the website, right? So would you like to kind of give us an update on transportation and what that's going to look like?
Absolutely. Rick and his team did a great job last week. He kind of went over our transportation guidelines. So if you missed those, you can certainly go back and look at last week's. But yes, transportation will be provided to all eligible students. We are asking bus riders to pre-register to help us prepare for the upcoming year. It's so important to know the numbers of kids. That also helps us plan routes and where stops are going to be. So it is in the on-site learning sections, the form to pre-register, but it was a little bit hard to find. So we went in and added an icon in our mobile app for bus rider registration, as well as on the home page of our website. If you go to forneyisd.net and look at the quick links on the left-hand side, there is a bus rider registration over there. So we're asking that you please go in. We are utilizing a new smart tag system, and they will have an ID printed for that. So if you have a student who you're not sure if they'll need transportation at the beginning of the year, but maybe they'll need it further down the road in the year, please register in enough time so we can get that ID printed for the smart tag system. That will help for your students. That'll also help them plan their routes early on. So if you're a little unsure about transportation, but think you might need it, probably a good idea to go ahead and fill out that registration form for us.
That's awesome, Kristen. And all of our kids are going to have ID badges for buses, but they're also 100% of our kids are going to have ID badges this year to create touchless pay at cafeterias and libraries, checkout, things like that. So look for more information from your campuses about badges to come. Rick, you had something to add on transportation?
Yeah, I just want to add on to, thank you, Kristen, for sharing that, but also our routes and the times of routes and pickup and drop off, that's being updated. They're working, and as Kristen mentioned, so when you register, that helps us actually process that faster. So that information is coming soon. So be patient. We're hoping to have that actually finished by the end of next week.
That's great. I know those guys are working hard. We've had a couple questions just about what if a student or staff member shows symptoms or tests positive, just from a health perspective. And, we've got a lot of guidance on this, and we've got an incredible director of health and wellness and RN in Stacy Brown, and she's been doing a lot of legwork on this. And Kristen, I think we've got some updates even to our app and the website. So you want to kind of talk us through a few new items that are out there when it comes to safety and health.
Absolutely. So we do have a student and staff COVID self-reporting feature now. It's really easily accessible from our mobile app. You'll see that little heart icon there, as well as quick links in our website and in the middle of the homepage of our website. So we're asking if you, as a student, if you have a student who thinks they have some symptoms or have tested positive, or a staff member, that they go in and use that self-reporting feature so we can help track. So we'll be sharing even more information on our website next week about what that process looks like. But this is where you need to go if you think you have symptoms or test positive.
Right. And that's continually being updated. And I know Stacy's got a lot of information that she's about to put out next week, just from a flow chart standpoint, and what that will look like from, how you're feeling and what you should do if there is any kind of safety or health concern, right? Very good. Well, moving on, the next question is, and I love this question, and thank you for asking it. I just want to start with, everybody understands that relationships are our core value here. And that's the most important thing that we do, is build relationships and connect. And the most important relationship that is built is one with a student and a meaningful adult. And so trust me, that is at the forefront of our conversations right now, of how do we maintain that. And I know that kindergarten, for example, is one of those times in life where you want to go meet that teacher. And guys, what I can tell you is our principals are working really hard to get innovative and creative as to how we can still do this. And I have no doubt that they will find ways. They figured out some ways last year to do some things, and I bet they can do it again. I've already heard some great ideas, but I don't want to spoil the surprises there. So it won't be a traditional open up our building, everybody come in all at one time, obviously, but look for your campuses to share out information as to what that will look like, because relationships are still at the forefront of what we do and our core values. So coming soon, Meet the Teacher Night. May look a little different, but we're going to figure out something. All right. First day of school, I think, has been a question. It is still on August the 17th. As of today, that is the plan, and both learning options are still available for that day. And hope that we answered some of those questions. Would point you to our calendar on the website, though. We have a little bit of an updated calendar that we put out earlier this summer, and you'll notice the green days, and those are kind of emergency days if we needed them, kind of like a bad weather day, but for health reasons. So we hope and plan not to have to use those, especially with some of the options we have at our in our fingertips now from TEA. But that is available if you have any questions about our calendar. It is online. All right. So Kristen, some people just want some more information. I mean, they're not getting enough emails, I think, right? So somebody's not getting an email. How can they fix that?
Yeah. So first, make sure your information is updated in Skyward. You can do that actually through the re-verification process as well. And we know sometimes they get stuck in junk and spam filters, right? It just happens. So if you're not getting the emails, don't worry. First thing I would do is encourage you to download the mobile app, because we are actually sending these emails through a push notification to the mobile app as well. In addition, we share this information through these videos here. We usually put this video inside the email. It also goes on the mobile app. Then in the news section of the Learning Options site, we actually post the email with the link to all this information as well. So if you're not getting the emails, it's okay. Just keep checking the website and make sure you download the mobile app, and you'll get the same information that way.
Great. We need to make sure that we're connected to get you information. So make sure that the information's updated, and we'll make sure and get that out to you. These opportunities to share and answer questions are great from a district level. And I will tell you that there's a lot of information out there, obviously. But at the same time, we know that we're kind of getting to the point where we need to narrow some of the answers down to more specific answers and questions and information. So starting next week, I want everybody to prepare for our time together on our evening news to change a little bit. we are going to create some virtual town hall meetings. And so we've got some very specific questions about each setting. So as of next week, Kristen, we're changing things up a little bit, right? So what's that going to look like?
So next week we're going to have, we're going back to our Forney Family Fridays. We've missed them this summer. And so starting this next Friday, we're bringing them back with some positive on Facebook. We usually kick those off during the day, usually early Friday morning. And then we actually will kick off a virtual parent town hall meeting. There's going to be 2. So at 11 a.m., we're actually going to stream just like we are here through Facebook. At 11 a.m. on Friday, July 31st. And we're going to go into a little bit more detail about what virtual learning will look like, right? We want to make sure that you have that information before you have to lock in your decision on August 3rd. No, we're working fast and furiously to get it to you. And then at 2 o'clock that afternoon, we'll have a second town hall. And it's really going to dive into what our on-site learning looks like and what those processes look like. And the protocols. So want to make sure if you can't tune in at those times on Facebook, it's okay. We will record them just like we do this here tonight, and we'll send that out via email and the mobile app and all of those other different locations. So if you can't be on at that exact time, don't worry, you'll have a chance to rewatch it Friday evening. But just know, instead of our usual Thursday evening updates, we're definitely going back to our Friday updates with our Forney Family Friday.
Very good. And also our program leads, our athletic departments, our band departments, our campus principals, they're going to be setting up more meetings as well, I think, Kristen, to give them some specific information as to campuses and programs over the next few weeks as well. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes. Our campuses will be sending out more specific information. Yes.
That's great. Well, guys, we have held you long enough tonight, but we've got a lot of information, and all of this will be available to you on the website as well. Kristen, I think you've got an FAQ ready to go on the website either today or tomorrow. Is that right?
Yes, we took a lot of the questions that were sent in, and we had about 300 questions submitted. So we compiled them, and we really tried to hit the majority of the big questions here in this Facebook Live tonight. And so we're going to take these and we'll work on getting them actually typed up and printed onto our website tomorrow, along with some others.
Very good. Thanks. And thanks for all your hard work behind the scenes there. So guys, keep submitting those questions, because that keeps us creating new answers. There's a lot of questions out there. There's a lot going on. I know there's a lot going on in your lives. There's a lot going on in our staff's lives. And we just wanted to launch you out of here with this right here, not to let the entire staircase overwhelm you, but just to focus on that first step. And I know there's a lot going on, a lot of stresses and anxieties. There's jobs that have been lost, and there's family needs that you may have, and just want to remind you that we're here for you. Our Forney family's here for you, and even if this gets overwhelming, just take a look at that first step. You eat an elephant one bite at a time, not the whole elephant. So take one step forward, and if we can help you with that step, just let us know. We're here for you guys. We love you, and thanks for joining us again tonight. We'll see you actually next Friday, which I'm super excited to come back to next week. So not same bad time or same bad channel, but we will see you next Friday and provide you with another update. Guys, we hope you have a great weekend. We'll see you soon.